Hey, it's Angela. I'm going to be back with the first Truth for Teachers episode of 2026 on January 11th. But in the spirit of the new year and a fresh start, I wanted to make an important announcement first so that it doesn't get lost in a longer podcast episode. I have something really amazing that is available not only for you, but for your students if you work with teens or young adults, and for your friends and loved ones that are not in the teaching profession. Let me back up though, because I want you to have the context of why I've created this new app called Motivation Lab. This may be hard to believe, or maybe you have successfully noticed a common thread running through my work over the years, but I used to think that I was inherently lazy. It was something that my teachers told my parents all throughout my K-12 experience. And I always felt like doing normal tasks, just for functioning as an adult in the world, has required a herculean effort for me. Despite everything that I've been able to accomplish, I still felt like something was wrong with my motivation and my focus. I couldn't understand why I felt inconsistent when everyone else just seemed to do the thing and not make a big deal of it. It's been a long journey in understanding that I am a neurodivergent person. And I didn't realize that right away, even though I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was in my early 20s. I had a massive depressive episode in my third year of teaching and had to take a couple of months off, and a sub took over my classroom. As a teacher, you know that stress of being away from your students and what's happening in your absence. And the fact that I literally could not go to work tells you how hard it was for me to do basic things during that time period. So I understood that about myself, but the term neurodivergent, meaning that your brain works differently than a neurotypical brain, it wasn't yet in the common lexicon. I thought of myself as having mental health issues, which is a very different framing. If you know, you know. So I was on medication for a long time and then discovered cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which you still hear threads of all throughout my podcasts. Pretty much everything that I do, especially my book, Awakened, Change Your Mindset to Transform Your Teaching. I went off medication for many years, mostly because I wanted to get pregnant and it wasn't safe to be on it when I was trying to conceive. But after it was clear that wasn't happening, even with fertility treatments, I made the choice to go back on an SSRI. You might remember me talking about that a couple years ago. It was in 2020, and the anxiety from the pandemic and the schools switching to remote learning and all of that was so extreme for me that I just needed to be medicated again. So I continue now to take an SSRI, which helps with serotonin regulation. And I still practice mindset and thought work. And I felt really stable over the last few years. This is probably the best I've ever felt. But I have always lived with, and might always live with, an unpredictable level of motivation. Consistency of any kind is just really hard for my brain for reasons that might be part bipolar, could be genetics, my personality, the society we live in, or any combination of these factors. Probably more than I haven't even uncovered yet. And in my attempt to have consistent motivation and energy levels, which I told myself I felt like everyone else had, I feel like I've tried every productivity system under the sun, hoping that each one would be the answer that would finally fix my scattered brain. And here's what I discovered. There is no single system that works for everyone, or even for the same person every day. For over 2 decades, I have been obsessed with understanding what truly drives productivity and motivation in real life. I have guided more than 65,000 educators through my 40-hour teacher workweek programs. And through the podcast, my books, my courses, I have helped hundreds of thousands more build flexible systems that work for their natural rhythms. You have heard me tackle these topics of time and energy and productivity and motivation from so many different angles. This is why. It's because I have had to focus on it so much for myself that I've just learned a lot about it. And I don't want other people to have to do all of the work of trial and error that I've had to do. I want to kind of help you get there a little faster than I was able to get there. And maybe save you some of the heartache of the shame and the guilt of feeling like, why can't I find one system that works for me forever? And if you've been through 40 Hour, you know that I talk a lot in that program about how, you need to have a variety of tools, a variety of systems, so that you can choose what works from day to day, week to week, year to year even. So this obsession with figuring out motivation and productivity is what led me to create Finding Flow Solutions. That is the curriculum project that I started in 2022 and then finished up in 2025. It took a while. It took 3 years, partly because it's for every grade level from K to 12, and so therefore it is a massive project. But also, it's that inconsistent level of productivity that I talked about. I can create sporadically and intensely for a while, and then it's nothing at all. So I always build in lots of margin for myself so that I don't miss deadlines, because I know that if something should take me 5 solid days of work, it might take me 3 days, or it might take me 15, but it's not going to take 5. It's going to be one or the other. So the way that I have been able to stay on track with deadlines throughout my life has been to always have that extra margin. If I have a presentation or something happening 6 months from now, I'll start on it 3 months in advance, because I know that I may have those inconsistent levels. I might have an entire month go by where I feel like I just can't get it done to the level that it needs to be done at. So having that extra margin really helps. Anyways, Finding Flow Solutions is finally complete now. So this is a neuroscience-based program for K-12 students to help them manage their time, their energy, and their focused attention. I want to equip classrooms with these tools so that the next generation never has to feel like failures for learning differently or having different internal rhythms for productivity. And as I was completing Finding Flow over the past 3 years, I kept thinking about how to take the curriculum and make it something for teens and college students and young people in general to do on their own without a teacher guiding them through it. Not every teacher can get access to the curriculum, or they don't have time to implement it, or, there's just lots of barriers. And I was just thinking about what kind of resource I could make for parents that would help their young people push themselves through difficult tasks and build resilience skills. Because so many parents are frustrated. You have that parent conference, right? And you're like, yeah, so your student's not completing their work and they're not paying attention in class. And the parent's like, yeah, tell me about it. They won't do their homework. I can't get them to do anything at home either. Like, parents are also lost. Parents are also desperate for solutions to help their kids build these resilient skills, this cognitive patience, this ability to keep going when things are hard. And I've also been thinking about adults, because it's something that I still grapple with, and pretty much all the adults I know still grapple with. So it's not just kids, it's not just teachers, but it's really all adults who have ever felt like I have, like something is wrong with them when really they just need different tools, and they need a wide variety of customized tools instead of just expecting the same thing to always work. So I'm thinking about ways to put Finding Flow Solutions, the curriculum, into something that would be self-paced, that's not like classroom-based. And I just couldn't figure out the format. I thought about a journal, but a lot of the types of kids who will use a journal are not the types of kids who need this kind of support. So I don't think it's exactly right. Same thing with turning it into a book. That felt too passive. Reading an entire book is a big issue for people with, limited attention spans. And I wanted folks to feel really engaged and really be experimenting with the strategies, not just like reading words on a page. Same thing with creating a course. People who need a course on motivation may not be motivated enough to follow through and actually take the course. So nothing in existence really felt right. I couldn't crack how to make the concepts in Finding Flow accessible and personalized to meet people where they are outside of this classroom setting. So then I get this email from studio.com, and they asked me to be part of their flagship program for coaching apps. And when I saw what they were building, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. This is the format that these folks need, because it's so personalized, and it has those built-in dopamine hits that reward you and keep you coming back in a way that a book and a course don't. And a lot of people who struggle with motivation need that. They need that reinforcement. Side note, I have been learning Spanish on Duolingo for, I think today's my 72-day streak. So I'm still very, very early on. And it works. I've tried all the different language learning apps. That one works so well for my brain because it's so gamified. It's so interactive. There's just enough variety. This is not an ad for Duolingo, by the way. I'm just pointing out to you that I know the power of that. I never thought I would be the type of person who would stick with an app and keep coming back day after day. But because of the structure of this and because it's such a low lift, it's like, I can spend 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever I have on it a day. I'm actually coming back. So I know it's possible within an app. There's no way that I could read a book every single day for 72 days straight. Like I personally, unfortunately, like when I was younger, before the internet, I could, but my attention span is really fragmented now. It would be hard. It would be really hard because there's so many other things that give you more dopamine than reading a book, right? Like scrolling is just so much more motivating in some ways, even though it's not nearly as satisfying. So my point about that aside is that when I saw what Studio.com was building, I saw it's personalized, it's easy to do, it has built-in accountability, and it is AI powered. And let's be real, so many people who find when they're stressed or struggling, AI is less intimidating and sometimes more accessible than talking with a human because the AI is always available, right? Like you don't have to wait until the human, can talk to you or has the mental bandwidth. It's just kind of always there. So I worked with Studio.com and I have now created what I'm calling Motivation Lab with Angela Watson. So this is a coaching app that helps people unlock their productivity and motivation using neuroscience. And I created it to give you and the folks you care about who struggle to stay motivated something that I wish I had had years ago. I would have benefited so much from an app that coached me through each day with strategies tailored to how my brain is actually functioning in that moment and not how I've been told it should be functioning. So the core idea in Motivation Lab is this: your motivation is not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need the right toolkit to unlock your motivation. You need different strategies for different days and moods and tasks. And that way you can choose what works in any given moment. There is no one right answer or one strategy that will always work every day for the rest of your life. You've heard me talk before about approaching productivity as an experiment. That's a big part of what we do in Finding Flow with kids. That's why I called it the Motivation Lab. It's like a laboratory where you can test things out, you can chart the results, and you can iterate. So let me tell you how it works, because this is a brand new thing. I've not seen this done before. It's a new technological invention. I think it's really only possible right now because of where we're at in this current moment with tech and with AI. So every day when you open the app, you see a personalized set of activities designed just for you. So it usually includes a short lesson. They're sort of like stories that you swipe through on Instagram. And that teaches you a neuroscience principle or a productivity strategy. Typically takes 3 to 5 minutes to do that. Sometimes they're in video form, sometimes audio, sometimes it's like those stories that I was talking about. The app also gives you guided practices and exercises. So you might have a timed Pomodoro session or a meditation or a visualization. These are designed to help you actually apply what you just learned. So you're going to practice it, try it out. And here's what I love. You can experiment with different strategies and log within the app how they felt, what worked, what didn't. Over time, you're building your own personal toolbox of what actually works for your unique brain. There's also daily and weekly reflection check-ins where you track your motivation, your energy, and your well-being. And this is where the AI coach really comes in because it's analyzing all your responses. You're not just recording this for yourself like it's a journal. You're actually recording it for the coach to give you immediate personalized feedback. So the AI will help you notice patterns. It will remind you that fluctuations are normal. It will celebrate your wins. It would help you reframe setbacks without shame and give you lessons that kind of help you understand what's happening in your brain. So I have trained the bot on 29 different modules that I've created, and the AI will serve up what you need when you need it with your input. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might start with Reset When You're Overwhelmed module or Tame Your Anxiety Spiral. If you're currently struggling to focus your attention, maybe you explore Build Your Focus Skills or Take Control of Your Phone Habits. So there's all these different modules in there based on my work, and you have total control over what you learn and when. The AI will make suggestions and guide you, and if it's not what you're looking for, you give that feedback and things adjust right away. So I want to be really clear about the AI piece because I know that can feel a little bit uncertain for people. This is not just chatting with a random AI bot. This is not like ChatGPT. The AI in Motivation Lab has been trained exclusively on hundreds of pages of my content. as well as my audio and videos that I have created just for this. So when you're interacting with it, you're getting my voice, my approach, my strategies. You will see videos of me teaching. You will listen to audio of me guiding you through exercises. You'll read my words. And then the AI is there to help personalize that experience to your specific needs in the moment. And that's really the power of this and what I think makes it so unique. So rather than just turning folks over to a random bot who knows what data that's even been trained on, right? Or how safe that environment is. This is a special, unique place that has been trained on my information and my advice. So I think this is the best version of blending AI power with human power. It's still giving a uniquely human experience, but with supportive AI that makes it available to you 24/7, remembers your entire history, and tailors every conversation to your unique personality and needs, which is something that I as a human could not do alone. Within the app, each day's activities are designed to take around 10 minutes, but you can do more when you're motivated or skip things when you're low on energy. I purposely designed it that way because that's what I like about Duolingo. Like I can just do one short thing for 1 or 2 minutes and I still feel like, okay, I checked in and I'm still building my skills in this area. One thing that I did change from Duolingo and from a lot of these apps is that you are never pressured to maintain a streak. I feel like that is antithetical to the goal here of Motivation Lab. So you don't have to maintain a streak. You can set it to be off on weekends. So you don't have any lessons on weekends, nothing to do. You set it up however you want. The app is designed really to be flexible because that is the whole point. Flexibility is your superpower when it comes to sustainable productivity and motivation. Now, here's where I want to talk about who this is for. Because yes, educators can absolutely use this. This can help you in your motivation and help you work with your students. But it's not just for teachers. It's really for anyone who is tired of being told that they're lazy or unmotivated when the real problem is that they have not found a method that works for them. It is for neurodivergent folks who are done forcing themselves into rigid productivity boxes. It's for busy professionals, for students, for parents, for anyone who wants to understand how the brain works and how to build strategies that honor their natural rhythms. And this is where I want to ask for your help, because you might be thinking, okay, that sounds good, but I don't need it enough to pay for it, or I don't have the money right now. Like it's not right for me right now. That's totally fine. But here's something that I would love for you to do. If you want to support my work, think about someone you know who might benefit from this. Maybe this is a person that you've told about my work over the years, but they're not a teacher, so nothing I have created was exactly right for them. Maybe you read Fewer Things Better or Awakened, or maybe you took the 40-hour teacher work week and you thought, wow, I know people who are not educators who need this stuff. Motivation Lab could be for them. Would you recommend it to them? I also want you to think about your students. If you teach at the high school or the college level, or if you sat in a parent conference with a caregiver who was just at their wit's end because they don't understand how to motivate their 13-year-old or their 18-year-old or their 25-year-old, maybe even it's a young adult in your family. Maybe it's your own child. And you feel like they have such a hard time putting down the phone and getting to work or whatever the struggle is, and they're not listening to you or their parents and the other adults in their lives. They need a judgment-free zone to really explore this. And maybe there's someone who already likes to use ChatGPT or another AI as a friend or a therapist or someone to talk to. Would you let that person know about Motivation Lab? Because that's what I think really makes this so valuable. If you as a teacher are working with students or young people or anyone who's struggling with motivation and being really harsh on themselves about it, they can access this compassionate zone where they can get my guidance and my strategies, but in a format that is available whenever they need it, that adapts to their unique needs. So it's like they have, young people can have like a big sis, right? Some kind of mentor that's not a parent, not a teacher, not someone in charge of them. And of course, powered by AI. So it's, it feels like they can really be honest with what's going on with them and they're going to get affirmation back. So if this is not something that you want or need or can afford, but you love the concept and you know someone who could benefit from this, it would mean so much to me if you would tell them. I really feel like this is a resource that folks should learn about through word of mouth and recommendations. And so many of you listening to this are in positions where you're working with people who are unmotivated. people who are struggling, people who aren't meeting goals, people who are really hard on themselves, who don't understand how their brains work, people who are neurodivergent and feel like a failure because they just can't make themselves do the thing like everyone else. So I want you to know this resource exists. If you feel like you need more information about how it works before you can recommend it, I totally get that. Send me an email. The link is in the show notes for this episode. I can send you some sample materials. I'll send you a longer video, like a trailer that explains how it works. I'll let you see examples of what it is and what it isn't. There's also a free trial for 7 days. I do believe you have to enter your credit card information to get the free trial, which was not my choice. I asked for that not to be a feature, but that's the way Studio.com is doing it. And they're the ones who built this technology, so I don't have a choice. Basically, you enter your credit card, but you're not charged for 7 days. So you can actually try it out if you're comfortable with giving a credit card. Otherwise, email me. I will send you like sample videos and the material so you can see exactly what it is. Because I know that your recommendation, particularly as an educator, means something. You're not going to just tell people about something if you don't know if it's any good, if you don't know how it works, particularly when there's AI involved. So I think that's very wise, and I want to make sure that you feel comfortable. And of course, you can tell people, I haven't used it myself yet, but Angela has helped me with my own motivation and productivity, or helped me support my students with their motivation and productivity. And there might be some good stuff in this app. Here, check it out. So that's another option too if you don't want to really dig into it yourself. You can find Motivation Lab at the link in the show notes, along with info about current promo codes and discounts. Thank you so much for considering sharing this with people who need it. I really appreciate your support, and I hope this becomes a resource that helps a lot of people unlock their motivation and start working with their brains instead of against them.